Welcome back to the Hearthstone Global Games, where Hong Kong have gone ahead and won the group. But now things are going to get serious, Lorinda. It is time to start eliminating these teams from Group D. And honestly, I don't really want any of them to go, but I'm sure excited to see what the result's going to be for this one.
Yeah, United States, one of the biggest nations for Hearthstone, one of the favourites for the competition. Chinese Taipei, an interesting history in this event, but they are having another go this year with Shaxi and Narina. And if they get through this, they'll have to play against the Netherlands. And if they get through that, then they get to the top 16, where they play a lot more matches.
A lot of work to do when you end up in this elimination bracket, but we are going to jump straight into it now. Narina up against Just Saiyan. Here we go.
Yeah, Narina, 8-4 in Seoul was his route to getting onto the team.
Okay.
And that's sort of his only notable result, but obviously Shaxi has been doing very well in Grandmasters. He actually topped his group in Season 1, but didn't get to Global Finals because didn't get through the playoffs. Obviously Saiyan needs no introduction, and his teammate Dog also needs no introduction.
Absolutely not. Dog, of course, the winner of the very first Masters Tour Vegas. And Saiyan's done a few things too.
Hunter versus Combo Priest. We've seen this a few times.
Yeah, we haven't seen it much like recently though. I feel like day one we saw it a few times, but then it's sort of died out since then. I mean, most of today has been incredibly long, grindy control presets. Let's face it. But
we haven't seen anything recently thanks to PNC. All we've seen is priests. But yeah, this is actually really awkward for the priests. They have to navigate the freezing traps. They have to navigate deadly shot. And those two things will be a big part of this. Even though they're not actually in the hand, they have to be played around a lot by the USA.
We saw one of the games yesterday where the priest was able to make something like an 18-18 on turn 3 or 4, and against most decks that would just be a win. But the hunter happened to have the deadly shot and had a means to make it a 100% kill on the 18-18 minion, and therefore the priest just lost. So, like you said, deadly shot, freezing trap, the many different ways of removal the hunter has can be treacherous waters for the priest. We'll have to see how Just Saiyan and Dog can navigate this one.
Yeah, unnavigatable waters, in fact, I believe is the famous phrase. Yeah, that was Australia who did that. They had a whole tournament along those lines of it just not working for them. It was a realistic chance to take. I think it was the Philippines who put them out. But no such crazy burst start anyway here for the USA. Let's go allow Hunters to get a minion or two on board. That is huge because then they get to control their removal spells much better.
Yeah. You know what? Just Saiyan has been struggling with this priest in the previous series as well. If you missed it, the USA got 3-0'd by the Netherlands in the initial match, and Saiyan just did not get anywhere with the combo priest. Never managed to quite get that start that he needed. But now, I feel like it's now or never. He's going to go ahead and play Armet. If this sticks, then he's got Psycho Pop into the injured Tolvir, both with 7 health. That is looking like a solid start.
Yeah, on such small margins, things change. If Australia made this play, it would have got deadly shot and they'd lose. Saiyan makes this play, and there's a great chance if he doesn't fumble it that it's going to stick.
Yeah, so the best thing Narina can do is stick up the freezing trap and the pressure plate, I guess, and hope for the best.
That's what I was about with the fumbling.
As long as but as long as Saiyan plays this carefully, Psycho Pump into Tolvir and pass, that's looking like the beginnings of possibly even a very fast win.
And it's absolutely hateful when you play this Hunter deck and you draw all your secrets, or most of them, and Subject 9. Like, you begin to question your life choices and your deck building decisions when this happens. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it is grim.
Quickly. I wonder.
So that's kind of cool because that's lowered the health total on the minion. But also it can't be buffed with spells, and if you want to heal it, then good luck to you. It's going to cost you a lot of mana.
Yep. But then again, at the end of the day, this is kind of okay for the United States. They've got Psycho Pump and Tolvir both stick at 5 health. The Tolvir has Reform when it comes back. It's essentially got a reverse Divine Shield. It comes back with 1 health afterwards.
Reverse Divine Shield. Actually, that's quite a good way of putting it. I know when the animation first was released, like the blue egg, I was sort of getting it mixed up with Divine Shield so often because it's a very similar effect. You know, you bump into it
colorblind,
for
Lorinda?
one.
Is that...
No, I'm just an idiot. Wow. Dan dissing the deadly shot.
I wonder.
Do they have to just go for this 1 in 3?
We can play it safe by going with the Ziliax and trading into the Tolvir. It doesn't get much done. Deadly shot, it's a 1 in 3, and if it misses Armet... Sorry, even if it hits the Armet, Just Saying still has stuff. I like the Subject 9 line here. Fill up the hand with the rest of the secrets. Empty the deck of the secrets vitally, meaning the rest of the drawers get an improvement. And suck up the fact that this turn is going to hurt, but from next turn onwards, you've got a lot more control over the game.
Sure. Yeah, it makes some sense. The pressure plate might do its job for you on the assumption that your opponent's not going to go mega wide, but they might just go super wide here. Working out which minion he wants to get frozen back to hand.
And it's definitely the Psycho Pump, isn't it?
It is indeed. Play it again next turn.
Yep. And in the meantime, like you said, Saiyan is able to go... Oh, there's no freezing trap. What do you know? Saiyan is able to go pretty wide here, and even able to play the Pyromancer with a spell if he wants to clear up the snakes. But as we know, the secret is Pressure Plate, and Pressure Plate would do some nasty things to one minion on the board. We don't know which.
You want it out of the way, though. You want the Pressure Plate out of the way, so that's one of the accidents waiting to happen gone. Just take your chance, I feel, here. You gonna wait one more turn? Yes, he is. Can't be gotten to, so able to wait a while. Explosive Trap's useless. Rat Trap isn't useless. And the danger here is nothing to do... Well, I mean, it's a danger, but it's nothing to do with a normal priest combo. At the moment, you're just going to get beaten down. These bits and bobs are adding up to 11 damage.
I guess Priest can just... I mean, that's the power of Armat, isn't it? Priest doesn't need to do 3 things to kill you. It can just make a big board of pretty mediocre stuff with a lot of health.
Yeah, and then just wait and eventually maybe kill you the old-fashioned combo way, or maybe just kill you with a series of low attack minions.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Narina can't even kill that Armet right now. Kill command is 1 mana too expensive. The Reborn Taunt is in the way. Yes, the Explosive Trap can get in the way eventually, but at the moment...
Yeah, it's pretending to be a Rat Trap for now, and then after Saiyans played around it and found out it's not Rat Trap, then you drop the Rat Trap.
Yep.
But is it
and
a
you know
bluff
what?
that...
Saiyan is just going to decide, I'm done with Armet. That's fine. It's done its job. Look how powerful my board is. I actually just don't need it anymore.
Speak to me.
Yeah, nothing to worry about your Armet dying if you haven't got an Armet. That works. I'm curious as to... I mean, I understand playing around Hunter Secrets, and the bluff has been called on the Explosive Trap, so now he knows he can play lots of spells this turn.
Yep. Well, there's
It's
still a
curious
pressure
to me
plate.
It's curious to me that he's not willing to trigger the pressure plate and just get it over with, so that he can proceed about his business and making a ginormous minion and killing you with it. And yeah,
Well,
that's
now's
what
the
he's going to
time,
do.
right? He's got a white board. He gets a prop on the Acolyte of Pain. If the Pyromancer dies, fine, there's another one. The only card he really doesn't want to die is the Light Warden, but there it goes!
Ouch. Tis but a temporary setback, though. Well, I'll say that. The hunter can start picking away at this board now.
I wonder.
Deadly shot just to clear things up a little bit. Something like picking away. They're figuring if they can clear this board, maybe they win. Maybe there's no more minions for a while, at least. They have dealt with some of the big stuff. What a horrible looking turn, though. Yeah, through no fault of their own, but these traps are completely and utterly revealed because Subject 9 has been played, and these are the last two secrets. In a Highlander deck, so there's no surprise element. More cards.
I mean, that is one thing that a priest cannot get enough of, isn't it? It's just cards. More and more and more cards. That's how they win
And
the game.
damage, and there's plenty of that. Now, this time we might see them wait one more turn. Do you care about the rat trap if you hit them with a...
Well,
18-18?
I'm pretty sure... What?
Um,
Hang on a second, though. Because the Blade Master, double its... give it Beaming Sidekick, double its health, in a fire, that's 20, and then there's 4 more damage on the board.
You are correct.
Oh, but there's the Explosive Trap. The Freezing Trap, sorry, of course.
Yes,
So
the
it's actually
explosive
one
bomb.
off lethal.
Hey,
But still.
got you, friend.
I don't know. It's still lethal with the heal. Yeah, that'll do it. That's 22 damage from the Blade Master.
They got there. Oh, that's... yeah. That was...
I was looking at it at the start of that turn, thinking, that looks like lethal. But they're taking a really long time to get there. There you go. Like you said, at the end of the day. Yeah, good job, just saying. Finally gets a win with the Priest after that previous series of really struggling with it. They've still got their Token Shaman and their Tempo Rogue remaining. But much, much better start than last series.
Very much so. I mean, 3-0, you couldn't get much worse than that, in fairness. That'll be a relief for Just Saying, though, to get that first win on the board. Shaman left, that's another win on the board. And then what do you do with the... Yeah. I'm going to see the Rogue versus the Warrior being the important game in the match. If so, this is potentially the deciding game in a lot of ways. Because the Rogue can snuffle about and beat Warrior. We've seen it time and again now. They are playing the Shark version. They do have the value to get through. But it's tough. I don't mean it's even necessarily that unfavoured. It is just difficult and hard work.
Yep.
Unless you make 4 Colossus of the Moon like Impact did yesterday, then it's easy.
Colossus of the Moon has been like the little theme of this weekend. Actually, it's come up over and over again, thanks to the Pharaoh Cat, and I'm sure we haven't seen the last of that card.
No, I get a feeling we'll see more and more of it. It's unique, or not unique, but it's rare in that you can't put it in your deck because it's awful. But the second you generate one, oh my goodness, it's so good.
All right, Saiyan does pick up a Swash, but might not decide to play it this turn. There's no Mad Rush, and there is an Edwin in the hand. Maybe there's merit to just making that thing big.
Yeah, it's all about what he wants to do with the Edwin. Does he want to curve out normally and play Miscreants and Foxers and generally mess around? Or does he want to do the old-fashioned way and just make a gigantic Edwin against Warrior and pummel them to death with it?
There are definitely worse cards you can get from Swashbuckler.
Right.
Saiyan is playing a deck that runs Waggle's Pick.
Narina cannot believe that in his deck full of high casting cost cards, he's drawn high casting cost cards. There is plenty of early game in this deck, but even so, it's quite amusing. I always get amused when decks don't quite function as you hope. No matter who it is or what the deck is. Because you always feel so unjustified that you drew your cards that you put in there.
Alright. Saiyan has made his Edwin Van Cleef intentions quite clear with the 4/4. And Narina does finally draw a 1-cost card.
Yeah.
But that Edwin is actually annoying. For now.
Yeah,
it's actually a
big
little bit
enough to be
irritating.
irritating. Yes. If people overrate gigantic Edwins, I think, compared to just annoyingly good value Edwins. You know, it's not just a singular 3-mana 2/2, it is actually a card that can be coined out as a 4/4 for 3 mana. That's a fantastic card.
I wonder.
Do you want 1 card from the Acolyte? No. Do you want to do nothing? No. Well, unlucky. Those are your options.
It's going to be
The
the
great
1-card
thing here-
Acolyte by the looks. No, he's changed his mind.
Oh, this gives them some defense against the Blink Fox play. They could divine that maybe that was there, because when do you play a 4/4 Edwin? Well, when you've got a 3/3 backup that you can start to really smash your opponent to death with before turn 5. So that's a nicely worked take. Just saying, dodges that one. Instead decides to just proceed to build what is going to be a long value trek.
Slow and steady, but Saiyan's certainly in a good enough position. And the thing is, I'm not sure that we have mentioned this yet, but this deck is capable of pulling out some real value. You know, Spirit of the Shark with High-Sparrow and Togwaggle. As long as Saiyan has the time to wait around to play these combinations together, he can do some pretty disgusting things. And one thing that this warrior is going to do, it is going to give the rogue the time to do the filthy rogue things.
Right, and the one thing that the warrior can do, as we saw just on day 1, is get out of sight armor-wise and health-wise. So by having this irritating early board while you're waiting to do those disgusting things, you're just chipping away that health total, meaning that double life drinkers and kobolds and so on are just going to be in range. Deciding that there's enough value next turn to just do this now.
Yep. And why not? There is a second
Yep.
shark, so no reason to hold the first one back. You can do some pretty disgusting things now, and if the shark sticks, great. Togwaggle's just a couple turns away. Oh, look at Narina. He's praying. He wants
like
to kill
this
that
man.
shark. Someone's actually putting on a show for us. I love it.
I do like this man. He's enjoying himself.
Light the fuses!
Dynamatic's going to try and jump the shark. Doesn't
didn't.
manage it.
It missed. It missed the shark. Yeah. Which means now, rats, lackeys, all of that filthy stuff. There's a lackey. The lackey can just one-shot the Dinomatic.
Yeah, do you think your shark's going to live is question number 1.
He's going to make sure that the shark lives.
Yeah, it's not getting warpathed anytime soon.
Which means the next step is dispatching the Dynomatic, which again, it's easily done with just a pull of the trigger from the Kobold Lackey. The second advantage to playing the Lackey now is that is another Lackey on the board that if it's not cleared, Togwaggle will come down next turn and it will be active.
Yeah, taking away so many of the annoying options.
And it's fine to play all three of these lackeys because there's still a fourth lackey in the hand.
Yeah, why not hit him with a shark? Plague of Wrath kills both of these two if that was the play anyway, so it didn't matter which one to buff, so you buff the bigger one, which is fine.
Yep.
You really don't want to Plague of Wrath this board, though.
You don't, but it almost feels like Narina has to. Like, he made his ambitions clear last turn. He was trying to kill the shark. He failed. Saiyan has clearly set up the board for a Togwaggle. I mean, Narina was just hovering over the card. It's clear that he's thinking about it. Maybe I can get a rush minion that deals with it. No, Ziliax doesn't do it. None of them do it. It's going to have to be the play. And now the question for Saiyan, which he's answering very quickly, is do I play Togwaggle anyway? Yes, you do.
Oh, yes. Wondrous Wand. Ignore the wand to hit your opponent for yet more damage in the face. And it looks like a really pathetic beatdown, but all this damage is really relevant. As we said, you can get a lot of damage into those final turns much later on. So the accumulated damage through the game is critical. And there's no good way right now to deal with this. And as I was saying in the previous series with Daruk, you really hate dropping your card to because of sap, and you very rarely actually do, but he might have to.
I wonder.
The more likely play is Ziliax. There's also shield block and just rip the shield slam from the top. Oh, he's going for the take a lot of damage and hope it goes away play. That doesn't look like it works though. Okay. Maybe this is his best chance to win. Just be able to do more than one thing a turn. He just dies now. It's so often. Naught mana spells are good, I've heard it said.
Okay. Naught mana Spirit of the Shark, also very good. Have you heard that one said?
Yes, I have actually, but not by you.
Well, I'm saying it again.
And you don't have to do that anytime soon. You can say that if you want to, for a lethal push.
It's rather unfortunate that there's no way of getting that Togwaggle back into the hand, because if there was, we're looking at something disgusting, but I don't see a Shadow Step, there's no scheme, there doesn't seem to be a way of generating either of those cards anyway.
Yeah, I think he's okay. The Vendetta's going to allow this irritating push of damage. It's now become more than irritating, it's become an emergency. Just upgrade. What a god. That's not how I envisaged it being used in this game. It's not actually that good, but it's always amusing to see big minions coming from the swash.
It is. It is amusing. It really doesn't do all that.
What now?
I don't
And he
believe
drew
there
the
are any
shield
rush
slam.
minions.
to a big smile on his face.
Well-
He did draw the Shield Slam.
Okay, cool. So the Togwaggle gets dealt with. There's no way that thing's coming back this game. That is something. But then how does Narina maneuver the rest of this turn? 15 health, even without the Togwaggle, still quite a bit of damage staring him down.
Yeah,
I guess
Ziliak's
shield
in
block,
the
shield
box.
slam, dynamatic.
Well, that works
Or that.
too.
I must choose.
I'd have done this shield block a long time ago. It looks like it's always the cornerstone of your turn. And now you haven't got time to react to whatever you draw, which turned out to be nothing.
Unity, precision, perfection.
Yeah, realise that he's got a better chance of a lethal push now than later in a lot of ways. Got to math the difference between the Earth Shock and the other cards here. Saiyan playing incredibly quickly to get through all these tedious actions that are sneaking him towards the end. If no removal for this shark is found, I guess there's not much happens next turn.
Okay, I mean, again, Marina does actually have a method of dealing with the shark, but that's a lot of resources he'd have to throw into it.
Hmm.
What now?
Light the fuses!
That'll work. The trouble is here, I mean, he does have double card too, but he's up against double sap. That doesn't match up well in the short term.
I must choose.
Yeah. 2 Wraths for 2 Sharks. Not good mana-wise, but I think he needs to do it.
Yeah,
That's
I
saying
mean,
he's
that
doing
is one
good
of the
job.
biggest value threats in the game that has now been dealt with. So, I can definitely... I can understand the cards being used that way, but now Narina has some work to do in order to stay alive. He needs to see us off as soon as possible, but first, he needs to get those Cartoots down, and as you said, those saps are sitting there, just waiting.
So just looking through this warrior deck, there is no Harrison combo. So I'm kind of curious as to how Saiyan did choose to use his upgrade. I pretty much assumed he was playing around Harrison, but it's not in the deck.
Choose soon.
Unless I can't see, but I can see.
There's Dr. Boom. Is Dr. Boom... Is Dr. Boom good enough? 2, 3, 4. Ah, it's so difficult. It is
I mean,
so
it doesn't get
difficult.
sapped, right?
Yeah.
Your other cards are equally awkward and might get sapped. Dr. Boom, if it makes it, doesn't get sapped. You gain the 7 armor on the spot. Feel like it's your only chance to get a win. Like, you're guaranteed to gain the health from him, you're not guaranteed it from the Cartoots. I guess the benefit of the Cartoot, if you want to take the chance, is you get both Acolytes down.
You just have to play it. Like it's
I think so, yeah.
it's scary because you do give up all future possibilities of gaining armor. Well, not all future possibilities. Obviously, sometimes you get the 7 armor, but you do give up the ability to gain 2 armor every single turn. However, what you get in return for that, the mechs with rush, if you draw any, this hero power, it's worth it. However, that's going to be a lethal, Lorinda.
And 2-0 it will be.
Saiyan gets there. Very aggressive use of the spirits. Very aggressive use of all of the resources. And thanks to Rogue's ability to just sort of keep going. There you go. He got there. That is 2-0. A very different start to the start that the United States played in the previous series against the Netherlands, where they just got swept. Now it's starting to look like it will be the United States doing the sweeping.
Yeah, I mean, with your Shaman left and a 2-0 lead, there's not really that much that can go wrong. It's not the ideal setup. The Warrior's kind of difficult for you. The Hunter can be awkward. The other Shaman should be all right for you, but you can lose it. But they are in a fantastic spot right now.
Yep, absolutely they are. Will they continue to dominate Chinese Taipei, or are Chinese Taipei going to make a comeback? We'll be finding out after this short break. It's the Hearthstone Global Games. It's the United States up against Chinese Taipei. Loser is out of the tournament already. And again, these are two great teams, Lorinda, who it's, at least to me, it's a surprise to see them in this position.
Yeah, although this group was a really tough group. When the other two teams are Netherlands and Hong Kong, I said to Dalek, I think it was the group of death, the actual group of death, the toughest group of this week. And it's showing out to be whoever was in this lower bracket match was going to be two great teams. And one of them will be out of the tournament at the end of this match. And it's looking very much like Chinese Taipei are just going to be 3 and done. So they're going to queue up their easiest matchup first and try and hang on in there.
It's brutal, but that is the way that it is. Here we go. Can Chinese Taipei reverse sweep the Shaman? Good luck with that.
Yep. So first game is pretty easy. The Warrior. Derek will argue this to some degree. I think the Warrior's strongly favoured in this. I think Derek will probably say it's just reasonably favoured. But that's because he's a filthy Shaman player. But also, Dog is quite good at this deck, I would imagine, because he's good at Hearthstone.
Dog is pretty good at Hearthstone. That is an accurate assessment of the situation. Not the...
Yeah.
That's a pretty good hand, actually. Double Evolve and Thunderhead and Voltaic Burst. So worst case, you wait until turn 5, you make a big white board. The problem is you're against the Warrior, and what this Warrior is good at doing is removing your board over and over and over and over again.
Narina is absolutely loving this tournament, by the way. He is having a whale of a time there. And like I say, he had a good result in Seoul. He went 8-4 and has done pretty well to even get there. So, yeah, chance for him to show off his pretty good Hearthstone skills in front of a bigger audience. And I'm glad he's enjoying it. I think that's what a lot of players don't do their first time in a big event. They sit there, they get tight, they make mistakes, they worry about what people think. Just have a laugh and you'll play much better.
Absolutely. It's one of the reasons I think it's so great to see the players, or the teams that do play together. I mean, we've seen that with quite a lot of teams over the course of the weekend. We know that the Philippines did, even though we weren't able to see their face cams. We saw Tice just a little bit earlier playing with his teammates. So it's always been one of my favorite things about the Hearthstone Global Games to see that. Impact and Empanizado is another example. Like you see,
that was
just
beautiful.
friends
Impact
playing Hearthstone together. Absolutely.
He couldn't sit still. He was just bouncing around. And I'm not surprised because all the stuff that was going on would make anyone bounce around. But Impact was having a great time. Yeah, Narina's getting into this.
Narina has been a joy to watch, and part of me wants to see them get the reverse sweep just because of how much I've enjoyed watching his on-screen persona throughout this series.
Yeah, some people just have that natural personality, and then there's people like me. So I'm gonna get the big evolve.
Oh, you're
here.
a personality, all right.
Yeah. This is the don't have evolve position, I think. Oh. Next turn.
So that's a loosen bark.
Yeah, there's not much you can do about it anytime soon.
Yep, it can't be dealt with.
Just find yourselves a witch's brew and you're good to go.
Let the pain speak to me.
Yeah, that's all he had.
So what do we think of Loosen Bark? I don't believe there's any way of the Shaman healing, so once it's dead, it's just going to sit there taking
just
up a
the
space
witch's
on the
brew
board.
if it turns up somehow.
There's got to be a temptation to evolve this, but it feels so wasteful.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that actually. Yeah, because like you say, take up a space on the board in a bloodlust deck.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a mutate, I think it would be played now. But look, Dog even hovering over the evolve.
But do you ever really, in the real world, hit the warrior with 7 minions very often? You hit them with 5 and 4 sometimes. But is it that much of a problem? It's certainly an irritation. That's for absolute sure. talking of irritations, a 1 minion board against a brawl removal. Yeah, kind of awkward. Are you tempted to do something? There's double warpath there, right? Something horrible like Acolyte Warpath just to try and move this hand along a bit? Or run a mummy in twice just to injure this thing? And then set up the Warpath clearing for next turn? Yeah, I like that actually. Play the mummy and just put 6 damage into this. Otherwise you're just going to be snookered for the entire game.
No tomb can hold me.
At least now next turn you can get rid of it and move on with your life.
Alright, Lorinda, new plan. We roll a healing totem. We use that to revive the Loosened Bark if it dies. It'll take 5 turns, but that's okay.
I think now this turn you do the evolve thing. Because it heals up. Yeah, even if you get another one, it heals it 6. You get the frog.
Are you playing Spirit Evolved? I'm sorry, yeah, Spirit of the Frog Evolved and Spirit of the Murloc.
I think I might evolve a totem actually. It's quite a close call. Certainly playing Spirit of the Murloc's okay with the Bloodlust in hand, with Soul of the Murloc. I keep catching with that. That's a good one.
That's a good 2, actually. The 9/9 and the 5/6. Yeah, you take that. Oh, you meant a good evolve in general. Sure.
Yeah.
Electing to go with the totem rather than the Soul of the Murloc is interesting. It makes the brawl a little bit better for Narina, but then again, even with the Soul of the Murloc, you'd be getting 2 1/1s if the board got cleared. Like, it's not... The totem was far better.
What now?
Is it just time to brawl, and if the 9/9 lives, you're out of the Hearthstone Global Games? I think it is. The trouble is, if the 5/6 lives, you're probably out as well. Oh no, the 5/6 can be dealt with the mummy next turn.
What now?
You've seen both evolves, so if you do win the brawl, you're in a good spot. He's going to go for it, so their tournament life is kind of on the line with us. Easy game. He nods as if that was always going to happen.
It feels like that's almost everything that Dog's got used up now. I mean, yeah, there is a final Hail Mary. This with the Zap. He's actually going to play everything. This
You've got
with
the
the
Soul
Zap.
of the Murloc into Bloodlust here. So you've got Bloodlust for next turn, almost guaranteed here. That's a lot of damage.
Well, I'm counting 22. So yeah, that is enough damage. But obviously the elephant in the room, or rather the elephant in Narina's hand, is the Warpaths. Which, 3 procs on 1 Warpath, that deals with everything except the Thunderhead. You are completely safe from a Bloodlust if you go with that.
Yeah, Shaman's sitting with 1 card in hand. I'm very suspicious. You also want to protect yourself from Stormbreaker as well. Because that might as well be the end of the game most of the time.
What now?
Yeah, cleaning up that lot. Still not ideal, but it is making progress. And if I survive maybe 1 more turn without a nasty accident, they may start to turn the corner here. And they're going to survive a turn.
I mean, what has Dog got here? Lightning Storm to summon 2 1/1s, awesome. A Hero Power, great. Next turn, Bloodlust to maybe kill my opponent. But as we can see, with Warpath, with Ziliax, with Dynamatic, even with Dr. Boom, like Narina has everything he could need in order to survive the rest of this game.
Yeah, and they kind of forced the second evolve out of Dog's hand. He may have done it anyway, But the turn where they put the money into the losing bar, turned it into a useless looking forward to. That provoked the second evolve, basically. And when that had gone, then it becomes a lot easier to navigate those waters.
You mean the unnavigatable waters?
That's the ones.
What now?
Such a clean looking Dynamatic.
Let the
Everything is clean right now, Lorinda. Yeah, sure, this is fine. Acolyte, Warpath, clears up everything, draws you 2 cards. Dog's Hand is a bloodlust.
So that will leave the USA with their combo priest. Sorry, that will leave Chinese Taipei having to win with, just going everything backwards there, with their hunter and their quest shaman. The quest shaman can definitely struggle against this token form. A hunter not so much. Hunter can be is a very interesting match. Quite a lot of play in that one.
Light the fuses!
I imagine that Dog will look at one more card and then whatever it is, he will concede.
That's not gonna do it.
I guess he can't see the hand.
right.
We can see there's just a boom. Hello?
I mean, he can see that there's 8 cards there.
Yeah, show me one of them. Show me the good one, and I'll give up, I think is the point. I mean, they might all be... Yeah, he doesn't
don't show me.
Don't...
I don't want to
2-1.
see that rubbish. The game's over. Congratulations to Chinese Taipei. They take their first win of the series with the Warrior. I feel like things are going to get a little bit more difficult now, though, Lorinda. Chinese Taipei have a Quest Shaman, and they have their Highlander Hunter, both of which have to win up against the Token Shaman. It's not an easy feat.
It's not an easy feat at all. Token Shaman, I think, is just the deck you would want against most things. As it stands, you might... No, you'd be fine with this. We've seen Druid do very, very well. Druid's been banned out already, so it's done its job. I think they're in a bit of a tough spot. Tougher spot now with Desert Hare in the opening hand for a Dog. Evil Totem Corrupt the Waters, played in backwards order, is on the cards, I think. The chance of you actually getting as the Quest Shaman the combo is pretty low, so you tend not to go for it as much as you would with a token deck.
Dog's Hand is starting to shape up, but Shaxi's really isn't that bad. The Coin Evil Totem isn't looking as good now. There's a 2-1.
No.
So
back to real plays. Doesn't
back
work
to the real
otherwise.
plays. It's gonna have to be Sludge Slurper right back at Dog. But of course, now there's all of those horrible things to think about for Shaxi. Shaxi has to think about Mogu Flesh Shapers and Sea Giants on the board. We saw in the game with the UK yesterday, they were very meticulously working out exactly what mana cost their opponent's Mogu would be. They were playing so that regardless of what they did, that Mogu would not be able to do the disgusting things that it can usually do. We're going to have to see the same thing from Shaxi here.
Yeah, this was a bit trickier than that as well, because they could have played their own Sludge Slurper and then traded, but then nothing good really comes of it next turn, so it's okay. Wasting the coin seems like a bad plan. Oh my goodness, look at Dog's happy little face as he hovers over the hair.
He just wants 5 hairs, that's all. That's all he wants. It's not too
Oh
much to
my
ask, is it?
Disgusting.
And that's not a lackey that can deal with the Khadgar.
But the Darude Elemental has come into the opposing hand. So...
Right. Well, another option for Dog here is to actually play Voltaic. Whoa! Okay!
Oof.
Oh, it's so close to being insane. So close. So Voltaic Burst summons 4/1/1s with Rush, which would just outright clear the board. Which would also prevent the, as you called it, the Darude Elemental. It would prevent that from dealing with Khadgar.
Can just evolve the tokens as well. But with Hair in Hand, that wouldn't work
certainly...
too well. Yeah. If you had a slightly better board, then sure.
Problem is, if you Voltaic Burst this turn, you cannot play Hair Evolve next turn, so it doesn't quite work out. Yeah. Oh, it's so frustrating. But being able to just Hair Evolve next turn is probably worth, unfortunately, sacrificing the Khadgar. Yep, in it goes.
Sure. You still get it next turn. Dog's just sad that he couldn't do silly things. Now he can do his silly things. And they should hang around long enough to be turned into even sillier things later on. Which is kind of terrifying.
Yeah, with the Stormbringer just around the corner. And that was not the worst. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some minions that have 5 health here.
Don't like this mutate, and I don't like it because if you do get MC Tech, you've just given your opponent a better minion.
Okay.
Engaging TC-130 until this.
Oh, Lorinda! Making the calls!
Just exactly like that. There's no hurry.
Don't you
to
love
play
it
that
when you
mutate.
try and make a point, and then the game proves your point for you? Don't you love that?
This is a new experience. I'll
Happens
let you
about
know
once
when
a
I've
year.
processed it. Yeah.
Bubble, bubble.
No ogre pain,
Oh.
no ogre gain.
So as it happens, it didn't matter anyway.
Well,
Easy come, easy go. So the plan now, set up Stormbringer. When do you want to set it up for? I think Thunderhead Zap just looks so enticing this turn that...
yeah. There's no question. Dog has to play those cards this turn. Obviously, next turn he'll be overloaded a lot, but then the turn after, if anything's stuck around, then the Stormbringer will be able to do its thing. Then again, it's only 6 damage, Thunderhead, Voltaic Burst, Zap.
Shall we make a storm?
So he's going to need to trade in his minions as well.
Yeah, she's doing some stuff. They are running out of cards slowly. It might be down to their Stormbringer at this rate. This is so much stuff. Shaxi watching on in bemusement.
Does Dog leave the totem alive? No, he has to do it.
Don't leave anything, yeah.
He's actually going to leave the MC tech. No, that makes sense. The MC tech doesn't do anything on its own.
Sure, and he can trade
Just
into
a
a heal
3/3.
up next turn with Stormbringer anyway. Or effectively heal up, however you want to word that. Seeing also that,
Well,
I
the
keep on about this.
3/5 minion... Sorry, I was going to say the 3/5 minion does heal itself at the start of the turn. That's its effect.
Difficult decision here. They're not dead yet, but they are basically dead to Bloodlust. Which this could easily be. Just going to say that Shaxi seems to be having a lot of fun with this as well. Not particularly this exact second, but he has been over the course of the game. And I wonder, as the more experienced partner in the team, if he took the decision at the start, look, let's just have a laugh, see what happens. So that's definitely helping keep Marina really calm.
Double pump Azarano, extra Star Whip, High Mountain Ice, Chromatic
Spine's coming right up.
Okay, that's a interesting way to approach this. Not in the cast interesting either. It gives them tells dog you can never have 4 minions overtaking one again.
It does. It does. It's a very, very interesting threat. Again, Stormbringer not playable this turn because of the overload from before. So how does Dog navigate these unnavigatable waters, Lorinda? Do you ever regret saying something?
I wonder.
Not usually, but I'm starting to regret saying that. Must be said. I mean, just board control things, surely. Barista actually going to get work done as a barista, which is unusual. As in, as a 4/5, not just the effect. Seems like a good shaped minion for this current situation. Mogu.
But no evolve mechanics in hand. But then again, does Shaxi even need that with Novice with the hero power, with the Sandstorm Elemental and that hero power? Like, there's a lot Shaxi can do.
Sandstorm hero power just looks so good right now, and that seems to be what they're going for. They're going to play the Novice first, and a full clear against a Shaman that's had a card hanging around in their hand is very, very nice. Yeah, they're just going to dump stuff. Deal with this lot. Yep, no reason to leave anything alive there. And this has turned right on its head. And Bloodlust is not the card you're looking for right now.
No, they are the 2 cards that require Dog to have a board in order to do anything.
So next time you play Bloodlust, draw your Rain of Toads from your deck. Which isn't there, but you know, you can think about it. And this might be over the other way in like next turn.
I mean, Dog cannot do anything about this board. That's all there is to it. Thunderhead alone does nothing. There's no overload cards. Dog gives it up. Takes his 2nd game of the series. We are potentially 1 game away from a reverse sweep against a token Shaman.
That would be insane. And Hunter is a deck that can definitely do that. I would like to say it's 50-50. I'll probably get shouted at by both sides for saying that, but that's always a good sign. The Hunter can get the early game down. It tends to struggle just a little bit in maintaining the board. It doesn't deal with wide boards particularly well, but sometimes it just kills you. It does have the problem, as we've seen before, that it has to balance very carefully, killing off the minions, but also making sure enough damage goes to face that sometimes the Hunter just finishes you off in one big turn with Bran and subsidiary bits and pieces. If you trade everything, you tend to lose. If you go face with everything, you tend to lose. They're going to need to find a balance of trading some things, but sneaking some damage to face, and that's really difficult to do.
Yeah, it is difficult indeed. I mean, it's difficult to do, and it sounds silly to say that for the Shaman is actually to play around all of the secrets sufficiently. You know, you're not convinced by that argument?
I'm convinced by this hand, but I'm also convinced by Dog's hand. Secret Keeper into Zephyrus is a beautiful start. And what always happens in this situation to me is I pick up Animal Companion and Zephyrus becomes confusing.
Bran drawn as well is a very nice sign. Because Bran is just filthy on curve, right? You play it on turn 7 regardless of what's going on with the board state. It's very difficult for your opponent to keep up with that.
I know what you did.
Yeah, the problem is getting there. A lot of the time you're so overwhelmed as the Hunter by then, and the Shaman's on 17 health still, that you end up trading your 8/8 into whatever their Mogu turned into. And that can be really awkward.
Okay, Lorenzo, I've got a strange question for you.
Oh no.
Is this ever a wild growth game?
Oof. Especially with the pickup here of the Snip Snap, it definitely can be. I've taken Wild Growth before here, and it works sometimes. The rest of the deck does have a lot of heavy stuff in it. But is it enough?
Quickly.
You're really looking at Sirmat
You
and
listen to
Ragnaros.
my suggestion.
It's certainly an
Looks
option.
like it's something they're considering.
They are
That
going
goes
to
the Animal
curve
Companion. All right. A heavier curve seems more important. I suppose against a deck that, again, it just explodes onto the board come turn 4 potentially. Being ready for that explosion probably makes sense.
Yeah, it's always tempting to take the Wild Growth and usually wrong is how I find it.
Okay.
Against some of the slightly slower decks, even against the Quest Shaman, I think you can do it a bit more often. Maybe
We
if they had
saw it
another
against a
expensive card in hand.
warrior. We saw it against a warrior, I think, on Friday to quite some success. But yeah, you're right. Against the more aggressive decks, it's too slow.
Pressure Plate's interesting here. I think we'll see the Snip Snap I think we'll see the Animal Companion because you've embarked on this route of curving out, so you might as well continue. But before your opponent's even played the coin, Pressure Plate's kind of tempting.
I wonder.
But maybe you want to wait until after they've got something on the board. Animal Companion avoids Lightning Storm 2 times out of 3. And the other time it does a lot.
That
of
is
damage.
true. And we're going with the damage here, which is fine.
Yeah.
If Dog's playing Storm now, then he's only got 2 mana remaining the following turn. Narina can answer that with Snip Snap, so things are looking okay. But that Huffer, it did its bit.
It's done some, but still 21 health. They would like to get a big card here. Snip Snap's okay, but this is not that good either.
If there was a secret down, which there could have been, at the
Yeah.
time, this would be fantastic.
Kill Command
But
in hand
alas,
as well.
it now leaves a difficult position for Narina. Does Narina just go Secret Hero Power this turn and then go Hyena next turn?
I think
Or
if
does he
you go
have to
that,
play the Snip
go
Snap here just to get something onto the
Snap
board?
Hero Power next turn, and then you play the 4-drop Hero Power the turn after.
Okay.
I don't think you
Okay.
go that way. I think if you choose that way, you've got to stay consistent, and then you're trying to finish them with Bran, having already hero powered 3 times between now and Bran.
Yep.
And then you've got Kill Command as well, and you're thinking that should get it done. It's going to be tight. 19 and losing 2 a turn is not pleasant.
Dog gonna start fighting back now though with the Sludge Slurper. It looks like got the Lickum that's gonna start dealing 3 damage a turn. What looks like to be every turn for the foreseeable future.
Well, I don't know. They've got to deal with the minions. That's the thing now. That's what I was saying at the start about balancing the damage. Well, they haven't had to balance the damage because Dog hasn't played any minions. And
Right.
now they continuous. Now this makes it a bit more interesting because they can make such a wide board. But I think having started this way, I'm super tempted to just carry on hero powering.
I think getting stuff on the board, especially now when the Shaman typically starts to do things,
Fair.
definitely has a lot of merit.
Very fair.
The Pressure Plate, unfortunately, is looking unlikely to do much or to kill any big minions. It probably kills a 1-1 most of the time.
But killing a 1-1 in a deck that plays Stormbreaker and Evolve is actually killing something more than a 1-1.
True.
If that makes any sense in my
Absolutely.
world. So working backwards, they've got to do 11 more damage if you count the fact that the 8 from King's Crush is kind of a given. Okay, if taunts come up, they come up, but... So 6 damage if you count the kill command. But you are so dead so soon to Bloodlusts and Stormbreakers, etc. Stormbringers.
It's true, with the zap coming down now, that deals with one of the 2/2s as well, so Dog isn't taking too much damage on this turn. However, Kill Command next turn into Dino Tamer Bran the turn after. The damage does stack up. So that's 9 damage now.
Dogs!
That puts Dog on 17.
Unleash them. Then you buy yourself so much more time.
Wait, he doesn't need to, does he? Like, Kill Command, Hero Power, hit the face now. That's 9 damage. That puts Dog on, on 7. And then Bran next turn is lethal. Bloodlust isn't lethal on the other way around now, so it's just the 2-turn.
Well, if you go that way, you go Kill Command Dogs and put all the dogs in the face. Or enough dogs into the face, because it's more damage than the hero power, right?
Oh, sure. I mean, the break point doesn't matter too much, but as long as Bran is lethal, I think that's what matters next turn. But either way, it does look like Narina has the 2-turn. I don't think there's much Dog can do about it, apart from pointing out the Stormbringer and getting some big minions. Narina disagreed. He goes with the Snip Snap.
But still goes face. Which is set up exactly 14 damage for next turn if these aren't taken care of. And has still kept back the Unleash Kill Command and Searmat, which is really handy for getting through legendary minions, because they have 6 and 5 health a lot. And 8 sometimes, obviously, and 12, but 6 and 5 a lot. Go with me on this. Alright.
So, alright.
What's he gonna
Let's
get?
see what it is. This probably decides the fate of the game.
What a
Kangor's pretty good.
Junk.
Maybe Kangor's not that good. No, you're right. That is a sack of junk.
Dogs is 4, 6, 8, 13. One something, no matter how you cut it, off lethal. Mana, damage. Yeah, indeed. Currently staring down dead to Bloodlust. So you've got to do something. You can't kill your opponent. You can't get them into
slightly that Narina doesn't. Yeah, it bothers me slightly because Narina could have just had lethal this turn. I guess what they were thinking was we're playing around an Evolve or a Stormbringer summoning something big and stupid, which fair enough.
Or just a taunt. That's the thing.
Now
just
as a result, they've given Dog. Yeah, sure. They've given Dog an extra turn as a result, though, and maybe that was correct.
Just see him out, kill the 2/5/5s, go face with the rest. I think.
Makes sense. The Kangor's only healing for 2, so.
The other way was very, very all in.
Yeah, true.
If you went bonk to a taunt, they were probably never coming back from it. Because certainly setting up 2-turn lethal is good, but they did set up their own form of 2-turn lethal.
Oh, Vicina is really good here. Vicina, Voltaic Burst. The bursts deal with the Snip Snaps. Nat deals with a 1/1. Kangor, which is now a 3-attack minion, deals with a 1/1 and heals Dog for 6.
And if it happens, can we listen to Nat Pagel attack? Because I'm not sure I've ever heard it.
Alright, deal.
I play with the sound off anyway, so I've not heard most of them, but Yeah, this looks really, really good. Okay, Falk, it's happening.
That was just silent, wasn't it?
So sad right now. This is why I don't try and have nice things.
Wow, this is looking like the beginnings of a potential comeback.
Is Dogs... How much damage is Dogs? 6, 11. It's lethal, right? Dogs kill command is 11.
Yeah.
Hero power is 13, plus the 2 doofuses makes 17. And if they see that, that's a reverse
Wait, there's
sweep.
only 5 spaces.
Oh, they've got it. It's still
There's
enough.
only
I
5
was one
spaces
over.
on the board, so it's 6.
5, 10.
It's 16 damage. Yep. Yep, it's 16
Same
damage.
thing, no.
Well,
The
it
reverse-
looks like Narina and Chinese Taipei exactly have reverse swept the United States, knocking the United States out of the Hearthstone Global Games already on their first day of the tournament. So Dog and Just Saying are going to have to go home, well, they're already at home, and lick their wounds. But Narina and Taipei will be seeing them in the decider match up against the Netherlands coming up next. Now that was an exciting series, Lorinda.
Yeah, that last game, the way Dog played it to me, and I'm not in a position to criticise Dog very often, but I always say it's the hunter that has to balance clearing the board with hitting the face. But Dog seemed to be the one who wanted to juggle that. He went face a lot of times there, and you don't really need to. The hunter is more aggressive. It has got good control elements, but in general, it can't deal with the overwhelming wide board. If you just keep the hunter under control, your board gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You stay out of range of Brand to the face, and then you evolve and win. And that's sort of how it went, except the chip damage Dog had been doing meant that he'd been taking chip damage back, which meant that he just lost. And that was interesting to me. And reverse swept. I'm looking forward to the messages saying how incredibly wrongly I just analysed all that. But that's how I feel about that matchup. That's how I felt about it all the time.
Well, there you go. I mean, we'll see how wrongly you are a little bit later, I'm sure. But in the meantime, we have got one match left this week before we close out HGG Week 1. It is going to be the decider match between the Netherlands and Chinese Taipei. One of the teams is going to be moving forward into the next round. The other team will be eliminated. We'll find out which one it is in the final match of the day coming up.